Hello, everyone. My name is Tucker, and welcome back to our Russian Fishing for Spin Fishing series. I did start off here at Belaya. I started casting out here. There's a rough order out there. Got a random freshwater crayfish here in the rain. There's a rough order out there that I wanted to try and get for 30 silver. So we'll see what happens there. That was the first fish I caught. Just kind of looking around before that. I haven't even cast out the spin rod at all yet. It is a little bit rainy here, so we've got our night tequila on here, and we'll cast out and just see if we can get anything. With it being rainy, we'll see. I usually don't have the best luck in the rain. Was looking at the tackle shop on potentially grabbing a dark spiker. There are none here, unfortunately, so I would have to leave and didn't want to spend the silver to do that at this point in time. So really haven't missed much so far, other than that, just sitting there for a second trying to catch that crayfish, hoping to get rough instead. I didn't look to see if there was a crayfish order. I may have to. We'll see what's on the line there. It is kind of right behind where we typically have been fishing. I may go closer to the rock, since that's going to be closer to where the bottom rod is. It is 5 20-gram rough for the silver, so definitely worth it. I wouldn't mind getting another bottom rod kit because that could be more money. And especially for nighttime fishing here, it can be worth it. Usually is worth it. There's the rough we're looking for. I do want to lower my quiver tip. So rough are small fish, and if you didn't see what I did there, I changed the quiver tip out to a 14-gram quiver tip so that if a fish bites on and it's rough or a smaller fish, the quiver tip's a little more sensitive and the bell should ring a little bit quicker. Downside of low quiver tips is it can hurt your casting accuracy, and bigger fish that just nibble on it will ring the bells more. I do want to try and get a full hour in today. It's actually early afternoon my time. Had a few minutes to get a episode out and have something going on tonight, so wanted to get the spin fishing recorded at least before it gets too late. Otherwise, I'd be recording at about 10 o'clock tonight, or a midnight release wouldn't go too well. There's a second one. Looks like everyone's on the rough order. If we do get that rough order, I need a little bit more silver than just the rough order. But I may go back to winding or mosquito, grab a second bottom rod and a dark spiker. We'll see though. wasn't completely convinced there was a fish on there, and I was right. I did not look to see what the weather was going to be like the rest of the day. Looks like it's going to be rainy all day and tomorrow, so might be a bit of a slow one here, depending on how things go. If it stays slow and we get our rough, may just go fish winding. Getting a speed up right now without even holding shift. That's not a rough, that's a roach. Fish is a fish, though. Heard the bells ringing as I was walking away. I do love the echo you can get from time to time. I don't know if it's going to come through on YouTube, but when the lure hit the water there, I got an echo of the splash. It's like a little perch, but it'll do. First spin fish of the day. I am being a little bit more aggressive on getting the bottom rod when I hear it, just because there is that order that is for a nighttime fish. So I want to. That's a bigger fish. I don't know if you can hear the drag. Not what I would expect on a size 20 hook. Looks like a big perch. Yep, big perch. So rough are a nighttime fish. If you watch my float fishing series, we fish for rough quite a bit over there. So that's why I'm being pretty aggressive in trying to get it right now, rather than waiting for when I get a bite, finishing what I'm doing with the spin rod. I'm kind of speeding it up just because we did need 5 rough. We only have 2. And usually about 10 o'clock is end of rough time. So we'll see if we're going to get that order. Rough are worth it otherwise. That marker rough's probably 2 to 3 silver anyway. I'm not completely giving up on the spin rod, but if I hear the bells, I tend to just go for a quick speed up. I'm not already. Wrong button. Looks like another perch. Yep. unfortunately. With the sun coming up, I'm going to switch back over to the 4G004 for a bit. Nope, not a fish on there. Don't think we're going to get the rough order, which is unfortunate, but it is what it is. I didn't look to see if we could get it later tonight. I have to check that here in a second. White bream. Not what we're looking for. I think that's the first one we caught bottom fishing, though. Noticing my food's getting a little bit low, so I ate another thermos of tea. Still laugh every time that gives you food. At least one tea bag gives you 6 thermoses of tea. That might be another rough. Yep, that's 3. 2 more. We got about an hour or 2 of rough time left. Let's go. Did not know you could actually play the guitar. We've got 90 hours on the rough, so good. We can still go for that. I don't think that white brain was big enough. Otherwise, grayling order is pretty decent here as well. So, wrong one. Ahead. Put on the spiker. Go to sneeze. Sorry about that. Couldn't get the hand off the mouse in time to actually mute and sneeze, so ended up sneezing holding the mouse. We did get a fish on. Looks pretty small just based on what it's pulling. Might be a grayling. Yep, tiny grayling. But still good experience. 200 experience points. And unfortunately, it looks like we're kind of at the end of bream time. Not bream time. We're at the end of bream time as well, but at the end of rough time. So if we're going to get that rough order, it's probably going to be this evening. I will leave the rod in until about 10 o'clock just to see if we can get lucky. Last minute, probably perch. No, roach. Another rough, so that's 4. If we get one more. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, if we get one more, we get the rough order. So what have the grayling been biting on this week? Orange spiker, which is one I thought about. The spiker we have, fiber spinner, and the gold spiker. Reasonable fish here. Did have to turn my friction brake up just a touch. Grayling, 576 grams. The elite rough. It might be. No, another crayfish. It is after 10. Not likely to get another rough there. It's always possible. And I've got plenty of worms to just leave that in the water there. And all I'm using on that rod, I don't think I showed it off. I've got a size 20 hook on there with worms. Red worms would have been preferable. Didn't have any, wasn't going to buy any. Not really worth it just going for basic rough. If you're going for trophy rough, probably. Not really my goal today for a trophy. Or just catch rough. Today's been a pretty good day so far. Actually, a little bit on the warm side here in real life after the past couple of days. That gray area of fall, autumn, where do I leave the air conditioner set up? Do I leave the heater set up? Do I leave neither of them set up? Got to sleep with the window open in the bedroom last night. It was a little bit cold, down into the high 40s, but complain. Another fish on doing kind of the fake jig. Well, didn't actually have a fish on. About to say, it seems like the fake jig step's been doing pretty good for us. Yeah, I just had a bite that immediately let go. And a good bite. After I pull the bottom, the feeder rod fish in, I'll go over how I'm fishing there. Nice brown trout. That's a reasonable crucian. So what I've been doing that's been successful from a kind of tactics or process point of view is I cast out, lock the bail in, watch for the line to get tight or for it to say what touching bottom, do a rotation, 2, 3, 4, do a full rotation, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and just kind of rinse and repeat like that. A lot of times it's actually been biting when I'm not even reeling. Didn't like how I got a fish on. I noticed we got some slack in the line. I was about to say I didn't like how we ended up with some slack in the line, but we ended up with slack in the line because a fish was on the line and swam upriver a bit. Reasonable sized chub. Small perch. That time I did 2 reels just so I could see where my hand was. When I say one rotation, I mean one full rotation on. So if you look at where my hand is, put it back, try and put it back in the same spot. That time I let off a little bit late. Someone's got a decent set of speakers outside my house right now. Looks like my mic's not picking it up though. Good. Or at least when I'm not talking, it's not. I can't recognize the song or the singer or anything like that, so I doubt YouTube would either, but don't really want that. And fish on. That's like a fish on both rods, too. Little fish. Little grayling. Looked like a perch. It was a little perch. I could move the bottom rod to this side and try the same thing. With this side being a little bit deeper, although right up close to the shore here, it's not. I don't know. My luck for carp and kind of feeder rod, bottom rod species has been over on that side. I've actually caught a couple of trophy rough in that spot. So we did get started about 2 a.m. We're coming up on 2 p.m., 20 fish, so not too bad from a bite rate perspective today. And a number of those were bottom rod, 4, 5, 6, about half and half, I think. 2 crayfish, 4 crucian, and a roach and a white bream. 1, 2, 3, so 4 rough, 1, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah, it's about half and half. And a lot of the fish we caught have been pretty decent fish. And a few small ones, and I wouldn't with with the hook size I have on the bottom rod being a size 20, I wouldn't be surprised if we catch smaller sized fish on that rod anyway. Of course, it sounds like there's a bite on the bottom rod right as I cast spin rod here. 3, 4, 1, 3, 4. That's what's going on in my head as I'm doing this. Even if I'm talking, I'm still counting to 4 in my head every time. Another thing that's been good. So I went from completely stopped. I ended up getting a speed up there without pressing shift. Now I'm getting a second speed up, pressing shift. Got to the end of that, let it off. Let's see if we can get a fish down here. is a fish on over here. Definitely less current on this side than the other side as well too. Ooh, reasonable perch probably. Yep. Looks like another one. Nope, small roach. Interesting how much it slowed down this afternoon. For a while, it was every cast we were getting something on spin fishing, and here, last couple of casts, nothing. That's Z, not shift. For the weather forecast being rainy all day, I'm kind of happy with how it turned out. Even if even if it was rainy during peak fishing times. The wind's actually been pretty good outside in real life for me today, and my allergies picked up a little bit because of that, with it being the fall. Yeah, just not even a nibble to see this late afternoon. Not even really late afternoon. Go back to the spiker. There we go. Pretty good grayling. You can see the fin on its back. Just short of 800 gram, 669 XP. Interesting that the bottom rod even went quiet. May run over and take a look at it here in a second. Yep, nothing on it. Figured if I'm staring at the rod, the bottom rod, I might as well cast over here once. See if we can't get another perch. It is 6 p.m. Looks like someone pulled out the first rough of the evening. That's good. There's a fish on. That's why the rod's completely silent. There's a tiny rough on. So we definitely made the rough order. That's good. An easy 30 silver. Do I have a clip on this thing? It's interesting that it just cast out and fell there. I think I had a clip. I did have a clip on a spin rod. I don't know why. This is the rod that we've used to level up at winding with. Honestly, just wanted to try it because it already had the Knight's lure on it. Wanted to see if we're already getting bites on that. Although it may not actually have a leader on it, now that I think about it. No, it does. Hello, good fish. Be a brown trout or a grayling. Either those or pulling this hard, it'll be a good fish. And there's a fish on the bottom rod too. I can hear the bells jingling. I'm not seeing a fin, so I don't think it's a grayling. It's a big perch. Probably about a kilo perch. 1.2 kilo perch. Let's see what we got over here. Another smaller perch. I do want to. I had this at an 8 clip. I just set it down to a 6 clip. So, clip, I know I've mentioned it a couple times. If you're not aware of what that is, you set how far out you want your cast to go. And when you cast, you won't go past it. Now, you can go shorter than it. You can cast out to the 6 meters and then it'll bounce back potentially. So, you do want to try and keep your cast to be about the right distance from how long you hold it down anyway. Now, here, I'm not using a clip. I want to cast as far as I can. I'm back on the spiker. Worked laptop had fallen asleep and wanted to unlock it real quick just so I can keep an eye on things. Most stuff for me is wrapped up already this week, so gave me an opportunity to record this while just keeping an eye on the last couple things for the day. But like a lot of people, it's a Friday afternoon, so no one really wants to make any major changes. No one wants to work on the weekend unless you absolutely have to. Well, I'm not seeing anything on the spiker here. Switch back over to the other rod. Only reason I'm switching rods, they're both about the same. It just means I don't have to take the lure off. One less step. I've got another of the same lures. I could put it on the other rod, but so far it seems like it's at least getting some activity to both casts. Granted, it was a reasonable perch and now a tiny perch. Small roach, maximum number of fish caught in a day 28. And we still have plenty of time to go today. Granted, this series has been mainly using one rod rather than two or three, so catching more fish with two rods out or three rods out is easier. If you watch my float fishing series, you've seen me hit 50, 60 fish a day quite often. Don't usually get a lot of activity casting upstream, but I wanted to give it a try. So again, the water here does flow right to left. Which is interesting because that means the water's flowing south to north, at least based on the compass. At least where I am, most rivers will run north to south. I think it's different on the southern hemisphere, where most rivers will run south to north. But I didn't think Russia actually went down into the southern hemisphere. Now, I'm not sure where Belaya is supposed to be in real life. It may even be a real river. I actually haven't looked into that. I may have to go ask Uncle Google here in a second. Some of the lakes are modeled after real things. Some of them are not necessarily. Like Ladoga is a real lake in Russia. The Belaya River is a real Russian river in Russia. Just asked Google. 1,400 kilometers, 800 miles long. Wasn't a whole lot in the Wikipedia article on Belaya River, the real one, but good to know it's at least somewhat modeled after a real thing. I definitely don't read Russian writing, but that's the same thing I saw on uh, Wikipedia for how it's spelled in Russian. I'm coming, bottom rod. I hear you. Another rough. It was good. The reason I'm still fishing for rough is it is a small rough order. So the order is for rough that are 20 grams or less. Right now we've got 3 non-markers, 3 markers. And just to show you the difference. So 5 20-gram rough for 32.37. And if we look at rough, sort by weight, the 3 non-markers are not worth anything. The smallest marker we have is worth 2. The biggest is worth 4. So if we can catch a few more non-markers, that'll be worth it for us from a long-term perspective. That's a perch. And a small one. Overall, a good day. We've got 30 fish. We're coming up on midnight. Started about, I think, 2 a.m. We've been going for about 53 minutes in real life. A little bit slow on the spin fishing today, I think, but I'm not necessarily opposed to it. I think we have caught some pretty decent fish anyway. Let's go ahead and reel everything in and wrap it up here for the day. Again, pretty decent day, 30 fish. Not going to say anything bad about that. So overall, I hit the dry fish, not this one. Overall, 31 silver, but we're getting another 30 silver, 32 silver by selling the rough order. So 5 rough for 32, 37. And leaves us 28 over here. So 40, 60 silver day. Not bad. That does give us enough to get a second bottom rod. And if we wanted to, another spiker and still get back to here from winding, I think it'll be pretty close. So I may do that between episodes. We'll see. But I do want to say thank you all for watching. We'll be back again tomorrow and hope you have a good evening. Talk to y'all later. Bye bye now.